Good morning, children. Welcome back to our geography class. We are discussing about the climate chapter in the geography class. In the previous class, we have discussed about the elements of the climate and also the six climatic controls. Okay, and in today's class, we are discussing about the mechanism of monsoons. It is nothing but the monsoons in India. It means how the monsoons develop in India. Well, the monsoons in India are experienced in the tropical regions, roughly between 20 degrees north and 20 degrees south. So, to understand the mechanism of monsoons, the following facts are important. That is, they are the differential heating and cooling of land and water, the shifting of ITCZ, it means intertropical convergence zone, the presence of high pressure area east of Madagascar, the intense heating of the Tibetan Plateau, the westerly and the easterly jet streams, and the last one, El Nino and the El Nino Southern Oscillation. That's called ENSO. Now let's go for the first one. The first mechanism, that is differential heating and land and water, this creates a low pressure area on the Indian landmass, while the seas around experience comparatively high pressure. Okay, so we have learnt about this concept in the first part, that is sea breeze and land breeze. Okay, so directly we go to the next mechanism, that is shifting of ITCZ zone. It means intertropical convergence zone. As you all know that the earth has important pressure belts, and they are: first one, equatorial low pressure belts; second one, subtropical high pressure belt; and subpolar low pressure belt. So the region which lies between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn is tropical region, as you all know this, right? So since equator is the low pressure belt, winds from the subtropical high pressure belts move towards the equator. So these winds are known as trade winds or easterlies. These winds converge at the equator, and this region is known as ITCZ zone. It means what, children? Intertropical convergence zone. So since the intertropical convergence zone, the winds converge from the northeasterlies, it means the northeasterlies. The winds which are coming from the north are called northeasterlies, and winds which are coming from the southern hemisphere are called southern easterlies. So this convergence happens at the intertropical convergence zone at the equator. And now this ITCZ zone keeps shifting towards the northern and southern hemispheres. This ITCZ zone, it keeps shifting, children. It will not be constant. This happens due to the apparent movement of the sun. Okay, it means what? Earth is rotating around itself, but we feel that sun is moving around the earth, right? That's called apparent movement. So we all know that the earth rotates and revolves around the sun. On 21st March, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the equator, children. And as it is shifting the second position, that is 21st June, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the Tropic of Cancer. And when it comes to 23rd September, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the equator again. I repeat, 21st March, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the equator. And when it comes to the 21st of June, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the Tropic of Cancer. So, and again when it comes to 23rd September, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the equator again. So here we understand that the apparent movement of the sun in the north is because the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. But from the 23rd September onwards, the southern hemisphere faces the sun, so the apparent movement of the sun is towards the south. So here it comes the 22nd December. The 22nd December, the vertical to the sun, no, it falls on the Tropic of Capricorn, and once again it comes to 21st March, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the equator. So, from 21st March till 23rd September, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the northern hemisphere and the apparent movement of the sun is in the north. So, the shifting of the ITCZ zone is very useful, children, and it brings a lot of rainfall in India. So, from 21st March till 21st June, we have seen that the apparent movement of the sun is from equator towards the Tropic of Cancer. And this Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the India. So there is a shifting of the position of the intertropical convergent zone in summer over the Ganga plain. Okay, so this Tropic of Cancer is nearly passing through the Ganga plain. That's why the intertropical convergent zone also over the Ganga plain. So this is the equatorial trough. We can call it as what, children? Equatorial trough. So this equatorial trough normally positioned, it means located about 5 degrees north of equator. Now it is known as the monsoon trough. We can also call this ITCZ as monsoon trough. Trough means it is the elongated region of the relatively low atmospheric pressure, and here it is known as ITCZ. Okay. Yes. Now we all know that when there is summer in the northern hemisphere, it is winter in the southern hemisphere, right? So the temperature is low and the pressure is high in the cool areas. The temperature is low means ultimately the pressure will be high. So now these high pressure winds starts moving from the southern hemisphere towards the northern hemisphere. Generally, they cannot move. The reason is the ITCZ is along the equator. So the winds will converge. The winds will converge. It means they merge or they meet. But because of the shifting of the ITCZ zone over India, children, the winds move from southern hemisphere to northern hemisphere. So because of the shifting of ITCZ zone, no, in India, these winds move from the southern hemisphere to northern hemisphere, and they are responsible for bringing rain in India. The southwest winds, it means southwest monsoons, which blow over India, originate from the southern hemisphere. I told you, no, because it is winter over there and we have summer there. That's why they originate from the southern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, these winds blow as southeast monsoons. When they come to the north, they only called as what? Southwest monsoons. Okay. And the source of these winds are what, children? The presence of high pressure area in the east of Madagascar. The presence of high pressure area in the east of Madagascar. As you all know that the winds blow from the high pressure area to low pressure area. So India is experiencing low pressure area, and the east of Madagascar has high pressure area. That's why they are blowing from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere. So these winds, they arise a zone of high pressure zone which is known as Mascarenes high. So there the Madagascar, no, the high pressure zone region is known as Mascarenes high. High means high pressure. Okay. So these winds blow from the southeast to northwest in the southern hemisphere, and due to the topography of Somalia, which you can see in this pink color, you see here Somalia in the Africa. So Somalia, they deflect and blow from southwest to northeast in the northern hemisphere. Okay. Now another important mechanism is the intense heating of the Tibetan Plateau. Now we are going to discuss about the intense heating of the Tibetan Plateau. So in summer, the Tibetan Plateau gets intensely heated. The air across the plateau rises, so creating a low pressure region over there. Okay, low pressure zone over there. So that attracts, the low pressure area attracts what, children? Moist air, right? Moist air from the Bay of Bengal. South China Sea, and Arabian Sea. So from these three regions they attract the moist air, children, because of its low pressure region. They have alternatively what, children? High pressure. Okay. So these winds, they push the ITCZs towards the India and gets most of the rain to Asia. Okay. So that's all for today, children. Thank you.